Well, welcome back to another episode of the Jagged Edge, number 76 for us. This is Ian here along with Chris.
Whoa.
Whoa, whoa.
Whoa. Yeah, stuff and things again. This one not as bad. I think the last time I said that was my biggest rant.
Yeah.
That's not so much here, but definitely a lot of stuff this week. How's it going, everybody? We're going to start with 10,000 trailers.
Yeah, we got
a lot of trailers dropped.
Whole slew of them, man. Everything from comic book stuff we've been following to just live action. Man, let's just start at the top. The brand spanking new Into the Spider-Verse trailer. We get more here. Man,
so good.
It's great. It's great.
So good. Spider-Ham.
Spider-Ham. That was the big highlight for me too. You know, we've been looking at a breakdown saying, hey, you know, how many universes are we going to see in this? What's everything that's going to be included? And I think the ones that they're picking are just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're dead on. You got traditional Pete, who's, you know, used to the gig. Look, man, I got comic books. I got all this stuff. And
yeah, that was interesting. Now, a lot of people, I think the biggest comments was that Spider-Man. Now, do you think that's supposed to be like the actual Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, or is that some kind of based off that character?
I want to say based off, because look,
he doesn't look anything like him.
He doesn't, especially, you know, the 5 o'clock shadow and everything, and the sort of just pseudo kind of slouchy demeanor,
kind of walking around. I think those that sweatpants he's just hanging out in.
Yeah, I'm like, that's so not Pete, you know, but it is
obviously someone at least based, if not coming from that world,
exactly,
who's been Spider-Man for a long time now.
Right.
He's so over being Spider-Man.
Right. And he's just got that kind of just baked, you know, look, I'm so done with this appearance. So.
Right. Yeah, I'm famous and important. I've saved the world. Blah blah blah. Got the girl. Blah blah blah. It was fun though. I have not actually in the Into the Spider-Verse storyline. That Spider-Man didn't even actually exist as far as I know. Maybe we saw him in a panel or two, but that was not a highlighted character in the slightest.
No, not at all. I will take a quick nod. Can I tell you how excited I am to see drumming Gwen Stacy? I love that little cut. It was just like a little transition, but that was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Spider-Gwen, getting some Spider-Gwen, getting some Spider-Ham. Spider-Ham!
That was such a good appearance.
Not Danny DeVito, but that's okay. The voice sounds good.
He does.
The only thing I could ask more, and I wouldn't want it in this movie, maybe a sequel or something, is Spider-Ham 2099. That is a real thing.
Right.
That actually he showed up in after the whole Spider-Verse thing. They had a continuous running comic with a bunch of those characters that had met that were still guarding the universe and all that, or the multiverse, I should say. And Spider-Ham 2099 showed up, and it was awesome. The only thing better than Spider-Ham is Spider-Ham 2099 in that kick-ass suit, but it looks hilarious on a ham. And yes, I know it's not really ham.
No,
but it sounded better saying ham.
I think the other cool little cut with that was you have everybody bunched up on the ceiling trying to hide. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, do they freak out in this dimension? You know, from talking animals stuff.
There's some other things in there showing that we may get a lot of other spider people.
Right.
At one point, I forget the name of it, but they're obviously at one point they're in some kind of place, I think, that is actually connected to where the multiverse meets in a lot of areas. There is actually, you see Aunt May from the latest game.
Right.
Is in there briefly.
Right.
And there are, I looked and I saw a lot of people commenting about the new White Spider suit from the game. I think I saw it, but I didn't see anything that was very definitive on that.
Right. No. Same here. So,
and I haven't read it yet. There, obviously with the movie coming out and everything, and Marvel doing what they do to highlight sales, they're actually doing a new Spider-Verse comic story, Spider-Geddon, which I have not. I've got it sitting in my box right now. Which, by the way, people, you should all have a box. You should all be reading at least one comic every week. Support comic books. Otherwise, you wouldn't have all this kick-ass stuff.
Yep.
And he's highlighted this new universe from the game is actually highlighted in this now. So
crazy.
Yeah. So okay, I'm sorry. Back to this.
No. It's exciting. This is one of the things that
Spider-Ham
can't wait. And Spider-Ham. Of course, this is going to be the December treat. You know, hey, I lost Alita, but got this. So, no, plenty.
Yeah, and Bumblebee,
And, yeah, out of left field, right?
which promises to be the biggest disappointment of the year.
It won't have anything to do with John Cena, of course.
Oh no, I'm not worried
Being
about
Star.
that. I won't be able to see him. But are you catching on to that yet? When I
What?
say that, I won't even be able to see him.
No.
That's this whole tag thing.
Yeah.
You can't see me.
Is that?
All right?
Oh, that.
I've
Man,
made like 3
man.
references in various episodes at this point.
The last time, I was into any WWE stuff, I still have a hard time calling it WWE. It's still WWF to me. It was like Stone Cold Steve Austin and like Hardy Boys days, man. That's all I got. That's all I got. I haven't watched it in that long. So.
Well, it was Bumblebee. We're not even talking about that. Everyone's excited for that, and everyone's going to get let down, I think, because Michael Bay's still producing. But whatever. Let's talk about Into the Spider-Verse, which could also be another potential disappointment because that's being done by Sony.
Oh.
But you know what? This looks, everything's showing to look really good.
It does.
Venom just came out. We're going to have a review on that. We're going to talk about that. You can catch that on our channel.
Right.
And get our views on that. But Sony is well known for not making the best superhero movies, especially Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
They've got more bombs than the successes at this point. But this looks great. This looks great. I want them to do this movie, and then I want them to do 2 more, and then I also want there to be cartoon.
Yeah.
Man. It looks gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. You could do some kind of like ongoing running series. This maybe not the same disaster they present here, but something else to kind of keep in line with this. I think it'd be fun.
Oh, even if they only introduced various Spider people from other universes and stuff, but if they did like a Miles Morales Spider-Man cartoon or something,
right?
I would be totally on board for that. Okay, Spider Slayer. I think out of the characters that are in this, I know the least of.
Yeah, same.
She was in the Spider-Verse comics, but not a lot. So I don't know a heck of a lot about her. But then you have Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Nicolas Cage.
That is Nicolas Cage doing the voice.
That is Nicolas Cage.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So, and if there's I'm sure there will be others seen, but those look to be the main cast here. Cool. It looks like they're going to be going up against Kingpin and a bunch of classic Spidey villains.
Good stuff. Yeah, I definitely saw the Kingpin appearance. I was thinking about the classics and then Spider Slayer and everything, and I start to think of all the mechanical enemies. I almost wonder, man, is somewhere in the distance is Alistair Smythe involved in any of this?
Who's that?
Smythe was the fella. In fact, this goes back to the '90s cartoon as well. He's normally seen working for Kingpin, but
okay. Now you gotta make me go to Google. All right.
He was crippled. He had an injury, but later on, he ended up coming across a mutation that allowed him to really transcend all of that. But he was big into the designs, the robotics, and all of that stuff. And then I know he was heavily, if I remember right, involved in like the Sinister Six stuff. Always someone behind the scenes tinkering this stuff. So I wonder.
Is that the Tinkerer?
Not the Tinkerer. Just Alistair.
Oh my
Smythe.
God! Look at him mutated.
See.
Oh boy, that is '90s glory right there.
See, there you go. See, he's even got the Captain Planet mullet and all the.
Good God. Yeah. Oh, he's from. Looks like he was highlighted mostly in Ultimate Spider-Man, no, something like that.
There you go.
All right. He called himself the Ultimate Spider Slayer.
Yeah. That's exactly what. That's why it really refreshed all this for me. So.
Wait, look at that artwork. Okay.
So cool.
No, this is great. I mean, in a year that has had a lot of Spider-Man that has been mostly hit.
Yeah.
Some misses. This could end up being the best.
Could possibly. I mean, it's poised to. It's got all the makings of it, and I hope so. And I'll keep the dream going. If we can end this year for another very happy Spider-Man appearance, this Spider-Man nerd is going to be on cloud 9.
Now, do you mind if I skip some of these that we have in the list and go to something else that I have at the bottom of the list because it's not listed well because I didn't put them in very good order?
No, go ahead.
Coming out that same weekend, we just got a teaser for Voltron Season 8, the final season for Voltron. Also coming out December 14th, same weekend as Into the Spider-Verse.
Yep.
This is it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, finally
13
we're here.
episodes. That's it. I thought they like got him for a contract with DreamWorks for like 10,000 episodes.
Right, right.
But this is it.
No, man. Yeah, I figured you were going to jump to Voltron for talking about animation, and hey, that's right in line. I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, this is one we've always been a little unsure of. Hey, how long is this going to be a thing? How long is this going to run? I'll be honest, as sort of off kilter as the stuff for the end of last season was, we've had this feeling of finality. I think for a bit now. I was really looking at that, and I said, there's a lot of shows that would have just ended there. Even, I mean, you can keep going and spinning in it. Look at anime. I mean, One Piece and Naruto, for example, hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of episodes. So yeah, it comes to a matter of where the contract said, how long do they want to keep this stuff going? It's not that it's not possible, but for what we've seen here, I've had that feeling, man, and I've been making my peace with that. It's like, we in.
I have not made my peace with that. And what I want them to do is, once this Voltron's done, I want them to move on to another Voltron. Because there's 2 other Voltrons. And move to the one that's like made out of 10,000 cars or something.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I know it won't be as good, or maybe it'd be better. Who knows? Probably not. But if they had the same team working on it, I think that'd be great. In fact, introduce them in an episode here. Just do a whole spin-off thing. Get all commercial with it.
Yeah.
Or not. But do something else, please. I have thoroughly enjoyed this creative team working on this.
Cool. I'm
It's sad.
Yeah, it's rare you get something, especially outside of exactly like an anime that has, I think, solid telling like we've had here. Just
especially
something
for me.
Yeah, that's why I'm sitting here shocked. I mean, okay, bear in mind, people, this is the guy who won't watch Gundam 08th MS Team and stuff like that.
Traditionally, anime can kiss my butt.
But and yet, hey, here you have it. So I'm gonna say,
I know it's shocking when it's quality.
Oh, dis. Well, hey, I'm gonna keep the Ivan Drago line of thinking. If it ends, it ends.
All right,
I'll leave it there. I couldn't help it. Oh man! Back up top with our trailers, we've got the final Overlord trailer before the release is gonna hit. Now, okay.
Family entertainment to zombies and Nazis.
This, I said it, a million times looking at their early footage and stuff for this, but this just screams Wolfenstein. That's
fine. They can scream whatever it wants when the zombie Nazis are eating them.
Yeah, this is. I look forward to you and Jason. You and Jason are going to be on this.
Jason and I are going to be reviewing this, and we are salivating.
Yeah.
Zombie Nazis too.
This has been posting pretty good on Rotten Tomatoes already, if I remember right, and at least good early reviews.
I think you said 93% Rotten Tomatoes.
93 Rotten Tomatoes coming out this next month, November.
Yeah, unfortunately, it got pushed back. It's been done for a little bit, but it's been pushed back due to proper release dates. This is an issue that was coming out before Halloween, which is where it should have stayed.
Right.
It's just wrong that a movie of this genre is coming out after Halloween.
Yeah,
we're still getting Halloween, which Jason and I are also doing in a couple of weeks. We're also reviewing that one, but still, you can do more than one horror movie. You can have Halloween and Overlord.
Yeah.
That's right.
What he said. But no, this
looks so good, though.
It looks like, hey, and for me saying that, I am the last horror fan here on this channel. It's never meshed with me. It's just been, whatever, another horror flick, another slasher. But this looks good. I'll admit, this looks solid.
Yes.
So yeah, hey, keep an eye out for this one. 11/9. Again, what we're going to be looking at. See where it goes from there. Sweet. Moving right along, we got the last Robin Hood trailer. Okay, it's still, dude. I'm not over Jamie Foxx being this. I just looked at this. I'm like, what? What are you? How?
We were talking about that a little bit before the show about why is he in this? Jamie Foxx. Some would say one of the most accomplished actors. Period.
Right.
Getting past a race of any kind. This movie looks like garbage. This movie looks like hot garbage.
Just not into it.
It's almost like It's almost like, and we hardly get any views still, but it's almost like someone set this up for me to tear it down. I can't, and I'll have an open mind. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I will have an open mind. Maybe I'm going to come back from that and be like, I am totally surprised it's actually fun.
Could be.
No, I don't think so. Isaac put this on our list at the beginning of the year, and I didn't even know it was being made. And so I didn't even look at it. I signed up and I'm like, it's Robin Hood. It's either going to be a lot of fun to rip on it, or I'm going to genuinely like this movie.
I was going to say, could be as a long shot. Look, I'll be honest, man. It has nothing to do with acting chops, period. You know, look, you got a bit of Kingsman, you got a bit of Jamie Foxx here. I'm even seeing a little bit of Ready Player One as far as who all is going to be in this. So, but this doesn't necessarily run contrary to something I think we've seen all year. You've got some star-studded actors, they just do everything they can with given that role, man.
Yeah,
you know,
this seems like maybe a contract thing.
Yeah, I think so. Just no sequelitis or anything built up around this. It's just boom, Robin Hood.
Yeah, part of it for me, because I grew up in the 90s. We've talked about that, and you had the Kevin Costner Robin Hood, which by today's standards is a horrible movie, but back then was great. The thing was huge. It had the accompanying song that everybody loved forever and still does. He comes on and she's like, "Oh my god!" And but it was a great, at the time and for what it was, it was I still, as much as I know that is a bad movie, I have fond thoughts of that Robin Hood, and I think part of me wants them to come out with another one.
Sure.
And the reason we keep on seeing Robin Hood movies is also because it's free IP.
Yep.
Nobody has to pay for that one, so. But this looks really bad.
Yeah,
it really does. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that they're showing us bad. And for someone like myself, I spent some time out in the country. I grew up on a farm. I was being around guns and even bows and arrows a lot. All right, and from what little I know about archery, the way that half the time I see these guys shooting a bow and arrow in these trailers, like, dude, that thing would just flop on the ground. It wouldn't do anything. You're not hitting anything. If you're even getting that thing any momentum at all, I hate that. I hate that quick little pew pew. No.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work like Legolas rather.
Right.
It's just
yeah. So this is the thing.
Yeah, that's a good spot to leave it, man.
I should probably go into the theater wearing a freaking barbecue bib and just I'm gonna come out all bloody.
It's gonna get messy.
Licking my fingers. Good.
Finger licking good reviews, man. Alrighty. Well, I don't know if you're gonna massacre this next one as much, but this is. Should we say that, man? One of the swan songs for the now defunct DCEU?
Maybe, depends on how this one does.
Could be, man.
Maybe they'll pull another 180 if this actually makes some money. Here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about Aquaman, and I've noted this on the show. It's been noted a couple times. I don't know why I like this, and there's absolutely no reason why I should.
Yeah.
From knowing me, Aquaman is probably one of my most. I'm not going to say hated. I don't hate him, but as far as like huge name superheroes that have been around for decades and such, I make fun of Aquaman.
Yeah,
I've made fun of Aquaman on our shows, but ever since that Justice League trailer they showed this, I was like, I give him a chance. And then we saw Justice League. I liked Aquaman. Aquaman's a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. This looks really good. Sure. For some reason, I'm totally attracted to seeing this. There's absolutely, on paper, there should be no reason for that. I should be making fun of it next to Robin Hood. I should be trying to decide which one I want to chew into more. But this looks like a lot of fun.
My man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like Aqua stuff. I'm not particularly fond of it. I'm not particularly fond of Aquaman or his mythology, although Black Manta's awesome and looks totally awesome in this.
Yes.
But this looks really cool and fun. I'm watching this and I'm just like, why do I like this? What do you think?
Maybe this is the one. You know what? shake off the DCU funk a little bit. Just sort of just
You
take.
know that's really hard to shake off.
Dude, look, I know it's baked in pretty thick at this point, but go to the dry cleaners. Use some Febreze. Just move those books aside, just for one moment. Breathe a breath of fresh air. You might get something decent here. Hey, I'm sitting the same way. I feel more of a buzz here, as far as seeing these trailers, than I did for Batman vs Superman, than I did for Justice League, for a lot of the other stuff. That's so weird to say, because these, not necessarily compilation, I think that's the right term. These big team up movies, the mask appearances, the multiple heroes, that should be the stuff I'm getting in gear for, but it just wasn't. But not here. This just looks like a fun hero flick.
Oh yeah, you know what? I just double checked this. Our double header of Spider-Verse and Voltron. That's a triple header for me. That's also December 14th. I knew there was one of them. There was one of them in December. But with Voltron now, that's 3. That's 2 movies in the freaking 13 episode season. I gotta knock out.
Golly, man, you're gonna be all right. I hate to send you some.
That'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll just make sure I have the day off.
Cool.
Yeah, load up on some snacks and do a double header, and then go home and just take in the Voltron goodness.
There you go. Peanut butter sandwiches, all that good stuff.
That's right.
Sweet. All right. Right along the line of heroes, aka our dark hero, Daredevil, the final.
It's darkness.
Thank you. I'll say
is the darkness. This, the 2 teasers have been laughable. This trailer was fun.
It was. This is finally the trailer that gives a lot of definition to the sort of contours we've been seeing. The very loose references, the very short end references. You get it all here. Everything from Wilson Fisk. You get Daredevil himself. This is a trailer. This here actually gives you the feeling of, all right, this is how we're going to episodically march through this next part. This is setting up some great stuff, man. Anytime you got the Kingpin involved, I loved him in the Spidey series. From low-level thugs to mafia dealings to super high-tech, like the Sinister Six, all of that. He was in the middle of all of that. And here, with what we have with Netflix, I think Kingpin fits really well within it. So,
so it looks like from this trailer, Kingpin's going to get out, and he's actually going to become kind of a public hero.
Right.
I'm sure they've done this storyline in the almost 50 years Daredevil's been around with Kingpin before, but it's similar to a storyline going on in the comics right now in the main Marvel universe, where he's actually mayor of New York.
Right.
And it has some similar feelings to that. I don't like the fact that we did not see Daredevil in the Daredevil costume at all. We got some kind of imposter going.
Right.
I'm not a fan of that. That's part of what makes him awesome. That kind of cements him into this MCU a little bit more. Is that he's got one of these MCU kind of classic superhero costumes.
It is.
We got, what's his name? Bullseye. It looks like the guy in the suit's going to be Bullseye, though.
Right. So no, that was. I remember it when I first saw that moment come up. I said, "Oh, is he gonna break out the suit finally?" I said, "Oh no, wait." So, little too much momentum there for a second, but no, I agree. That's gonna be my one adjustment. As much as I do, sort of, in a very gritty way, dig the hand wraps and the tatty, head wrap and all that stuff. That has a certain aesthetic to it, but classic Daredevil, can't beat it.
He's the figurehead for the Netflix MCU shows.
He is,
and I hope they do that. Now, these seasons, all 10,000 of them this year that we've gotten, they've all had a season, plus Defenders. Good God. And I don't like the fact that they give us like 3 weeks notice before these things come out, because it's tough for us. We got to try to plan that out. This looks really good. I'm probably more excited for this one than any of the others. Jessica Jones 2 kind of fell flat for me. The rest of them were fine. I really liked how Luke Cage went. The Punisher, well, I talked about the Punisher. This looks good though. I hope Netflix gets it right. The future for Netflix Marvel shows, MCU shows, is a little unclear.
Right.
I believe these characters are going to be staying here. while Disney moves on and creates TV shows for their streaming service. I don't like that because it almost kind of mitigates these guys to over here, and we're probably never going to see the interaction that we've always wanted.
Sure.
But especially now that The Punisher's over on Netflix, I really don't like that.
Right.
But, yeah, these are still fun. They're still good. But I still want what I think most people want. Besides a good story, which we are generally getting.
Sure.
We're not getting the interaction into the larger MCU universe that people want.
No, I agree. So there
and
you
I
have
will
it.
probably bring it up every time.
No, as you rightfully should. I'm kind of curious. Hey, it's those of you who are listening. Hey, post up. We do want to hear from you. You guys geared for Daredevil? Are you tired of it? What have you thought just overall of what we've had from Netflix so far? Please let us know. We'd like to hear your thoughts on this too. As we talk about the MCU, though, and I'm glad you mentioned this. We had a couple of good pieces of MCU news come out. Some of them ruffled some feathers a little bit, but I think we saw this coming. The first big piece of news is that's Chris Evans. The shooting is done for Avengers 4, and he says goodbye. This was a little earlier this week. He posted this message via Twitter. He's talking a bit about the reshoots, wrapping up Avengers 4. Of course, that means his wrap of Captain America. The post itself said, quote, officially wrapped on Avengers 4. It was an emotional day, to say the least. Playing this role over the last 8 years has been an honor. To everyone in front of the camera, behind the camera, and in the audience, thank you for the memories. Eternally grateful. Got a big reaction, including some of his fellow comic book actors that are out there. And then even Ryan Reynolds had a funny one. He responded, I'm not crying, I'm weeping. There's a difference. And when you have a character this big, you can't help but point that's the end of an era, in a way. I think what Chris Evans has done with Captain America, what Robert Downey Jr. has done with Iron Man, and of course Chris Hemsworth as Thor, the three of them really have been focal pillars for the MCU. Iron Man being our first real story, our first real kickoff, Thor being a major figure, and then becoming a lot more relatable as far as his ad limit. People love that. People love a goofier Thor, not as serious and everything. And then, of course, Captain America. This gets the guy who's been at the center of each Avengers movie. Also, Civil War, the big split between the team. This is a big deal. But I think if you've been following Marvel closely, it's likely something you're prepared for, especially if you look at contracts where things sit. Renewals going into this next phase of the MCU and all that. But it's a big deal. It's a big deal still.
Yeah. They just throw more money. Keep them. Throw more. No, they've been foreshadowing Chris Evans. He's even been doing it himself for years now.
Yes.
And it doesn't look like this one's really going to change. I still think we'll get another Thor. I think we'll probably see Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark again.
Sure.
I don't think we're gonna. Besides a fourth Thor movie, I think Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. are probably going to be done in large part. Chris Evans is definitely the most, probably the most final on that. We're probably going to lose him in Avengers 4. We're probably going to lose Captain America.
Right.
It sucks. We've talked about this. There are a couple characters currently existing in the MCU that can take the Captain America mantle, that have taken the mantle in the comics.
Right.
I'm not sold so much on Winter Soldier, at least this iteration. I am very sold on Falcon taking it over.
Dude, same here, man. Dude, Winter Soldier. Look, I'm still salty, man. I still got feels from Civil War, and I keep thinking back all that went into making sure he was still in the field. All that went into that. And I'm not saying he's completely, he's not a useless character by any means, but it's just.
But you're almost saying it.
I'm close to it, but I'm not saying it. But
he's useless. He's this. Okay, I'm sorry. Go
ahead. But he's not Captain America. I don't see him becoming Captain America, taking the mantle.
Okay, so I gotta ask, how is he worthless when he's a super soldier plus robot arm?
Well, he's not. They're saying he's not useless. I'm just looking at as far as who we have and like how we've gone the distance with that, with everyone that we have here. I mean, look, he just got back in action into a terrible situation. in the recent Avengers. So there's only so much you can do with that. I'm not making judgments based off that.
I could almost see a movie. I don't think it could be the main plot, but I could almost see a movie where Winter Soldier initially takes over the mantle, but does not do a good job of it, and then Falcon takes it over.
Sure.
By the end of
Sure.
that movie. And maybe that could all be part of the Black Widow thing, but I'm hearing some rumors that the Black Widow movie is a prequel, which, God, I hope not.
That'd be a bummer.
Yeah, they're already doing one of those it's technically still Phase 3, but
right.
They're already doing that with Captain Marvel, and I don't think we need a movie or most of a movie in a prequel based on Black Widow's history. I don't think that needs to happen.
I agree.
Again, like I've said in the past, I think the Black Widow movie would be a great vehicle to move things forward in the MCU.
It would.
Yeah, this sucks though. I mean, I never, looking back to the Fantastic Four days with Chris Evans, if you would have told me that 10 years later, his movies were going to be some of the best in a huge comic book franchise that was going to take the world by storm, I would have flipped you off and told you you're lying. But here it is. Here it is. And I mean, I think time will tell when people look at these movies and dissect what effects the MCU movies have had in culture as a whole. I think one of the things that you'll find is that Chris Evans' role in large part in Captain America made being a goody two-shoes a good thing again.
Definitely. Yes, he did. This is, and bear in mind, this is in the middle of a superhero and comic culture. Not really comic, more along the lines of the silver screen and big screen hero culture that's just saturated with the whole cheesy one-liners, the cheesy goody two-shoes, and just how cringy some of that would come across. But no, he does it in a way that is not just believable and that fits so well with what Marvel's crafted here, but in the way they crafted his character and how he comes into conflict or how he contrasts with everything they have happening and everything current. I think this is the pivotal scene. The pivotal scene for me is when he comes out of thaw and steps into Times Square. That just summarized so much about his character as far as what he deals with now. I mean, he is literally thrust into present era and is constantly squaring his morals, values, the things he came up with, and who he is as not just a superhero, as a person, against the modern era and everything they're dealing with. And I think Marvel have just killed it with that. They've rocked. So
right. Well, especially in contrast, you look at Tony Stark and the kind of character he is, and the obvious differences between them, and then also with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which are some of them straight up villains. So but here you had Captain America, and they made it cool. They made you want to cheer with them, and I think a lot of that is how they surrounded that character and how he reacted to things, especially Winter Soldier. And definitely for Civil War, but I think Winter Soldier the most.
For sure.
There's a lot of context there that it's like, wow, all right, I would never want to be this guy, but I definitely want to buy this guy a beer.
Agreed.
So just throw him more money.
I'm gonna miss him. Gonna sorely miss him. Hey, full gun salute. Big stuff, man. Big stuff. But hey, I hope he goes on to whatever he does, make huge blockbusters. So here's the funny thing: he's not gonna outrun this now. You play a character like that, you don't get to live that down. You don't. He is Cap now and always. So
yeah.
Love it. Right along with that, now Mark Ruffalo got in something a little different. In fact, he got into a bit of a trolling escalation.
Yeah, this was fun.
It's just some fun here. Jimmy Fallon and Twitter, I think, is what most of this happened between.
Yeah. So I was just kind of catching this stuff. Wasn't really paying attention to the news at the time, but this started popping up at the latter half of the day yesterday, Friday. Mark Ruffalo had made a post on Twitter referencing something he had said on Jimmy Fallon's show, which he had done earlier in the week, saying, "Hey, you're gonna edit that part out, right? That was some spoilers. I wasn't supposed to say that." And Jimmy Fallon replies with, "Well, we can't. It's already been sent off to such and such. We can't, but maybe we could bleep it out." So, of course, obviously this drums up all kinds of interest for, well, what the hell does Mark Ruffalo say on Friday night's Tonight Show? You watch it. at that point you can tell it's a gag.
Yeah.
Uh, it's they don't just bleep it out what he says, but they also censor it. They put the high bar over his mouth, saying that he's giving away the title for the new Avengers movie, which then goes on to about a 2-minute tirade about things that happen in the movie that Hulk does and all this, and it's bleeped and he's censored and he's like picking up parts.
Oh my gosh!
He's picking up parts of the stage and throwing them around and stuff, and then shortly after that, one of the Russo brothers told Mark that he was fired on Twitter. And if you're not really opening up these links as they're coming on your news feed, you're like, what the crap is going on? But then if you do, which was kind of the thing, but I was busy at the time, I'm like, holy crap, did Mark Ruffalo just get fired? The movie's done, but we're not going to see Mark Ruffalo again. Like, when most of your characters played by, a CGI, you probably don't want to piss off your bosses too much. You're a little expendable there, but it's all a joke. Yeah. It's all one big troll. I guess some people are genuinely upset. Get over it.
Yeah.
Look, I get it. And we're huge fans, obviously. If you listen to the show, if you catch our shows, we're huge MCU fans. Am I dying for the title? No. I'm not dying for the title. Not in the slightest.
As far as I'm concerned, the feast that we just had with Infinity War. Look, Marvel, you guys deserve. Look, you sit on that Infinity Gauntlet throne. You take your time. You take your time. I will gladly.
As long as it's out in April, take your time.
Yeah, as long as that happens. But no, just a bit of fun. And this does have precedent. You had some stuff before Infinity War with Robert Downey Jr. messing around with Marvel about upping, quote unquote, upping the release date. Getting the early release, things like that. It's just it's fun. It's fun to see this stuff, and it just shows that even with megastardom like this, it isn't always completely detached from just goofing off sometimes. So I can dig it.
Yeah, no, hey, great buzz for the Tonight Show too. Normally they do that stuff all on ABC because ABC's owned by Disney.
Yeah.
So this being on NBC I was a little surprised that something from the MCU gave them that kind of push, but I'm sure that jumped the Tonight Show's ratings.
I bet. Because even if people know it's hammy, they want to tune in and see what's up. So, all right. Hey, speaking of live action, it's got nothing to do with superhero films or anything, but this it's questionable. Questionable announcement. Now, it's something that's been in the rumblings for a while now. I'd say at least about even back to 2017. I heard something about this, but Capcom is going ahead with this. At least they've greenlit some of this, I guess. There's a Mega Man live-action movie announced. This is going to be Capcom and 20th Century Fox. Had a bit of a posting about this on Thursday, saying that they are going forward with it now. We don't know a whole lot yet. We don't have, look, there's nothing about the official title, the day of the release and all of that, but we do know a little bit about some of the talent behind it. It's going to be written and directed by Henry Joost and Ariel Schulman. Sorry. The duo behind the films Catfish and Nerve. You heard it. I actually hadn't checked that out beforehand. But it's co-produced by Sherman Entertainment. And these were the producers for the Planet of the Apes series. And then also they're co-producing with actor Masaoka Heroes and Hawaii Five-0. If you watch that, I caught a lot of Hawaii Five-0 just on the side, so I know exactly.
The new stuff, the new Hawaii Five-0?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen much of that, but you put Heroes in there, and then I have to ask which season, because...
True.
Yeah.
True.
Season 1 was good.
Yes, it was.
The rest was not good.
The only thing Capcom's really saying about this is they say, hey, look...
I love this. I love this quote.
Here's a quote. They aim to appeal to a diverse audience, including not only game players, but action movie fans as well, with an adaptation that maintains the world of Mega Man games while incorporating the grand production and entertainment value that Hollywood is known for. Oh my gosh. Can.
No, I'm sorry. Shut up. Keep going.
No, I didn't mean no. I'm not saying can you. I'm saying that's such a canned.
No, I know, but it's the best because it's the worst. But go ahead and finish it.
Yeah, it is. No, seriously, you got a line like that. You coming out with Capcom. Look, the people know what the Mega Man series is.
You didn't finish the quote.
No, that's all I got.
Oh, okay. It's the Mega Man games
Value.
that incorporated the grand production and
Yep.
entertainment value that
Yep.
Hollywood movies are known for. I don't
Right.
think you said all that, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, fuck me. All right. Um,
KO.
this is gonna be a pile of shit.
Oh man, one of
This is gonna be throw this one in the fire of video game adaptations. This is
it's
gonna go right in there.
I don't see how this goes right.
I mean, that quote alone tells me not just. I mean, I'm not a big Mega Man guy,
Right.
but I like video games, and seriously, what I thought of when I thought of this,
Huh.
the Street Fighter movie.
Oh.
I'm dead serious, and you know the main reason why I thought that?
Uh,
Who owns the Street Fighter IP?
oh yeah.
Yeah,
About that.
this is gonna be dog crap.
About that. Yeah, man. Look, Mega Man's riding high right now. I mean, there was a really solid, successful release recently of Mega Man 11. Hey, shameless plug. Check out right here on our channel, doing a playthrough of that.
No shameless about that.
Yeah, nothing at all. But yeah, look, Mega Man 11 is a really solid game. It's great to see him making a return after all this time. The collections have held up well after all this time. You got the Mega Man X series out there and the regular stuff. So, especially riding the tailwinds of really a failed spiritual successor in the form Mighty Number 9. The original creator of Mega Man was quoted as saying, "Hey, I'm parting ways with Capcom. I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm starting a studio. I'm starting this up." Mighty Number 9 really just did not have that push and steam behind it. Mega Man 11 and recent stuff has shown that there is still that push behind Mega. People still love it, and I think Capcom still have that knack for making these games in an awesome way. For a movie that, look, just please, no, just leave it. I can't.
It's going to be tough. So what do you? I mean, okay. So of course, I made my outlandish statements, but let's dig into this a little bit.
Sure.
So what are you going to do? Is your hero really going to be a preteen kid? I mean, and not to say that can't sell.
Sure.
But can you really? I mean, can you really see that on the live screen? Being all flashy and colory. What were those? There were some movies that came out 10, 15 years ago where like the main characters were kids, and then they like agents or something, and it was all colorful, and they were in spandex. So you know what I'm talking about?
I do. I
think the first one did good, but then they made like 10 sequels, and they were garbage. I'm kind of getting that, but I mean, I just don't think in a live action. This is going to do well.
To me, this runs into a similar problem that Sonic runs into. One thing that makes the Mega Man and Sonic series stand out so much is stylistically. That feeling, that the whole colorful, the bright atmosphere, in the very cartoonish style. Everybody's got the giant feet and the giant hands. The world feels right, and it all blends together. So it's not awkward when you have Mega Man alongside Dr. Light or Dr. Wily or anyone else or somebody in a lab coat. It's fine because it just fits normally with the world. But now I'm thinking Mega Man himself, especially if you want to do classic Mega, like you said, kid form, juxtaposed.
He's always been a kid of some sort, hasn't he? Even his funky Reploids.
Well, I don't know, man. You look at that. We say that, but go check out.
I say that not knowing.
Go check out Tekken Cross Street Fighter or the really awkward early Mega Man covers, and you'll see what I mean. Of like the hyper adult weird Mega Man. There's different interpretations of it like that. So squaring that look alongside, in live action, I think is going to be difficult. Everybody was saying even with Alita, that was a real uphill battle to do that anime-esque style justice in live action. I think Mega Man would really struggle with that.
So he's a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm stating.
Yeah. I concur.
Does he have a big personality? Not really, right? He's a means to an end for a video game.
He's he is all about your hero doing the right thing, Captain America, justice. Yeah. He's and I'm sure there's some Mega fans out there who would say, well, you haven't played Mega Man Legends as much, and there's this stuff about his character you might not know, but what we get presented, I think, is a pretty accurate picture. We get each game.
Is there a love interest?
No.
I just don't think this lends itself to a movie.
No, he's got a lot of interesting, rivals. He got the whole family thing with Roll, and then his pet, Rush, and all that stuff. That's fun. That's all cool. And then there's plenty of awesome rivals to jump off of. I mean, from Base to Proto Man, all that's really cool. But
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm absolutely wrong. And the trailer we get for this, a year and a half or whatever, is showing me some kick-ass Reploid action or whatever.
Whatever they are by that point.
Yeah. But I mean, this sounds horrible. This sound, like I said, another movie adaptation, video game adaptation to get thrown on the fire.
Just the initial vision. That statement's kind of off-putting, man. So,
prove me wrong, Capcom.
I agree.
Show me that you are beyond that Street Fighter magic.
Please. Magic is a word for it. I'll never forget Van Damme as Guile in that. Oh, all right. I'm going to derail that too much if I go into it. Hey, you, my friend, you've got a lot more in this than as usual than I would on Star Wars. We got a brand new series title and a theme announced that just hit this week. I think is The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian. Excuse me. I'm puking about Star Wars already. No, The Mandalorian. The Star Wars TV show that's going to be on the streaming station for Disney. Got a little bit of announcement from, what's his name? John Favreau, yep. I believe is how you pronounce it. Who's producing that? Obviously from acting and directing and producing parts of the Iron Man movies. Doing this. We got a single image. Looks cool. Got a little test image there. The story, as we'd heard and as we were told, actually does not take place 7 years after the Battle of Endor. The confusion was it takes place 7 years after the Battle of Yavin, which was episode 4. So this takes place 3 years after the Battle of Endor. So same thing, 3 years after episode 6, basically. The New Republic they've been in power for a couple of years and are trying to get their foothold into the galaxy and, obviously fixing everything that the Empire had done. The Empire is getting its butt kicked. So you're in a time of chaos, basically. Now, how much, Ian, have I told you, or how much do you know about the Mandalorians?
Very little.
Okay. So in the Clone Wars, and I'd say for a decent amount in, what the heck was the name of the show? Rebels. Yeah, good radio. In Rebels, but definitely in Clone Wars, Mandalorians are all over the place. There's all kinds of lore and stuff. Most of it at this point is called expanded stuff, or it's not canon anymore. But that's where you can get a lot of the canon stuff. We're going to get a lot of it in this last season of the Clone Wars, which is coming up. There's going to be a lot of Mandalorian stuff there.
Right.
Of course, Boba Fett, who was the clone of Jango Fett, they were Mandalorians, which is why the picture here looks very similar. Obviously, it's Mandalorian armor.
Okay, there you go.
That's not just some funky style that Boba Fett thought it was cool. No, it's Mandalorian armor. So yeah, this is they're saying that this is going to be a gunfighter kind of western, probably gunfighter space western Star Wars style, which is kind of in the vine of Star Wars to begin with.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's going to take place in a really interesting time period that I think at one hand gives them a fair amount of flexibility, while on the other hand can give them some good moments of Star Wars canon and lore. Don't expect to see any Jedi. Maybe we'll see some Inquisitors. I would not expect to see any Jedis in this show, though. Dave Filoni is going to have his hands full of this one. I think this is why he's going to have more of a hands-off role in the Resistance TV show, which, by the way, starts out this week, and we will have reviews for that. We'll also be reviewing this, but you're not going to see it for a while. It's going to be about a year. Yeah. So, I hope, this is our first live-action Star Wars show. We've not had one before. And, I've got good hopes for it. They lined up several directors for it, one of which is Taika Waititi from Thor Ragnarok. He'll be directing an episode. I think, I could be wrong on this. I think Dave Filoni is directing the first 2 episodes of the series. I'm not totally sure on that, but what'd you get from it? You saw the picture.
Yeah, no, I did. As far as vibe wise, hey, this is something very, very much along the lines that I'd expect Star Wars wise. I mean this whole image of sort of gunslinging and the sort of weird pseudo western. It's the very thing that came to mind when I first saw New Hope, and Tatooine. I think that's the first word that pops in my mind.
Let us know what you guys think. This is obviously a hot topic, though.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to this. I'm looking forward. There's some good cast behind this, or some crew, I should say. There's some good creative crew behind this. Retread on the topic over and over again. Last Jedi is a piece of shit. Solo bombed because of The Last Jedi. Could have stood on its own as a Star Wars movie. It's a good movie,
Right.
But it bombed for every reason that it should, and that's typically how things go. The one thing sucked. You're not going to see the effects of that until the next thing. So, I want this to work. I really want this to be good. I've already got, whether I like it or not, I've already got a dozen reasons to get the Disney streaming station. So, the fact that you're going to have live action Star Wars on it sounds great. You got Dave Filoni in there, which is a huge plus. Kathleen Kennedy is, and this could be name only because she is obviously the head of Lucasfilms, but she is actually set as a producer. We'll see.
Plenty.
Yeah. If Star Wars, if it is not anything, it is at least controversial right now.
Always. All right. Spinning on into gaming, we had couple pieces on gaming. A little bit more about Telltale Games closing. We talked a bit about this last week on our show, and I had one other little piece about Google before I go on. But no, about Telltale. A little more came out with this.
You get to hear me tell the news a little bit more. Good luck with it.
Here we go. So they let some more employees go, and
no. I got that on.
Yeah, I guess.
So they let some more go this week. What was it? Their narrative designer was let go and made some post on Twitter initially, kind of snarky. Understandably so. She just gotten laid off.
Sure.
Again, no severance. Very limited health care with that. But it wasn't just her; it was her team. Now she doesn't disclose how many of them were fired, but so that's out of about the 25 that we knew were left at Telltale Games. That's now even less. She did note in a later tweet that basically her work was done.
Right.
The projects that her and her team were working on were finished, or their aspect of it anyway. So they let her go. Again, no notice though, and I guess. The cynical part of me wants to say, well, you kind of saw what happened a couple weeks ago, so when your job was done, you probably should have expected it. But at the same time, they could say that, right?
Of course.
They could tell her that. Look, this is what you're working on. This is the deadline, and after that, we're going to let you go. You let a person know. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Of note for The Walking Dead, though, more on that topic. I could not find it again. I found a piece from one of the officials from Telltale Games stating that they are still very much hard at work at finding a completion for the series, and they are not looking to do this in a comic book. So while I don't think that's off the table, I think that's probably going to be a last course of action. I cannot find that news piece again. I found it earlier in the week, and I could not find it again, so I could actually quote the person's name. But now, that being said, interesting to note that Season 4, the Season Pass for Season 4 of The Walking Dead has been taken down from many retailers' websites.
Right.
Whether or not you can still buy the current Season 4 and I think the 2 released episodes, I would think so. I mean, I would think they would want to make as much money as they can.
Sure.
But you cannot buy the Season Pass anymore. Just, what?
Sucky situation.
Just, you're quit being so shitty. God. And just let us know what's going on with The Walking Dead. I appreciate the fact that, and like I said a couple weeks ago when this first came out, I appreciate the fact that they've probably got the last 2 episodes pretty close to being done. This was all going to be released by the end of December. Right. Initially, so I would suspect that they were mostly done anyways. They probably just need a little bit more funding. They'll get a couple people to help them out with funding. Maybe they'll bring on some more people to help wrap them up, and that's probably going to be it if they can get the right people behind it financially. The fact that you're taking down season passes, that doesn't make me feel much better about that getting done. But
Right.
whatever. They can go. The fact that he made the comment about the comic book route is at least an acknowledgement that he knows that that is an option they could use
Sure.
to finish the story.
Sure.
So, and I think that would be done if other avenues do not work. Because I think Image would be more than happy, especially, Kirkman still writing the main comic book over there, who I'm sure is behind part of these stories,
Right.
would be happy to probably get that set up for a multi-issue small run to tell the rest of the story. Just whatever. I'm just kind of sick of hearing about it at this point.
Yeah.
I'm sick of hearing about people getting shit on.
Yeah, I mean it's a terrible situation all around, especially so many people who had all their livelihood and everything else wrapped up in this. The initial layoff was terrible. You knew that they'd be dropping more and more until everything's completely defunct. But yeah, even though on the flip side you've had a lot of people who have been reabsorbed in other parts of the gaming industry, or their talent has gone elsewhere, that's good. I do hope others continue to get placement, that they get relocated in somewhere timely, because that just sucks to have the floor yanked out from underneath you in 2018 like this. So wishing everybody the best that's dealing with it and trying to find new placement.
Especially so close to the holidays.
Yeah, that's just
we're like 2 months away.
Thanksgiving and Christmas, we're going to be talking about it in just a sec.
Okay, as bitches firing people before the holidays.
Well, Santa Claus will remember and give him a lump of coal. I hope.
I bet you the people at the top of Telltale list are going to get huge bonuses, though.
Of course. Why wouldn't they?
They put the company down the drain. Yeah, give me my millions.
Don't you know? I mean, the kickbacks, dude. Go to the cream of the crop. Leave it at that. That's who deserves it. It sucks. It sucks. So sucks. So hopefully, I think this will die down more and more as we look. But I do hope to see their influence in games, down the road, because they had the chops for it, and you had a lot of skill, you had a lot of talent there. So, all right, this last one here. Speaking of big corps, looking at Google and their current project, it's called Project Stream, which is effectively trying to set up to sort of make a Spotify for gaming. Now, there was an interesting test just this past Friday, where Google allowed a select number of gamers were able to play on a 1080 stream. They used Assassin's Creed Odyssey as a test game for it. And now here's the trick. You had to have a broadband, I say you, as though you're playing or not. The test base had to have a broadband connection of at least 25 megabits per second for this to work, for this to be able to go through. So the idea behind this, what Google's pushing, is to use Google Chrome, the browser, as the device, effectively the hardware. That's all. No PS4s, no Xboxes, nothing like that. The idea is to try to get high quality gaming, 1080 experience out to anyone, regardless of what you own. As long as you got that browser, you be able to use this service, you be able to stream it. Talked a bit about this beforehand, Chris. Hey, I've always been really wary of pure stream services for gaming, and I understand the push to try to blow away hardware here and say, well, now there's no need for it because we have something like this. But this is a revolution that I think you've had a lot of different companies trying to push for a long time, and it's never taken root fully. A lot of it, of course, having to do with connection and actually making sure you get a streamlined streaming experience across your whole user base, regardless. But infrastructure-wise now and just connection-wise, I don't see how this takes off right now. At least we at least in North America, it doesn't seem we have the type of landscape needed for this, consistent landscape to actually make this effective. I can't say I'm a big fan of this up top.
There's a fight brewing.
There is. You
got to see the first, maybe the first battle when it came to physically owning games versus downloading and and doing that. I think that's not quite the same thing, but I think maybe it's the first shots. This is a much bigger one. You're talking about changing this industry as far as sales. There's a lot of money that's made on console sales. There's also a lot of money spent on console sales. You're going to try to come in here and do something different. And different is not necessarily... Different as a concept is not bad.
No.
Do I like this? I do not like this.
Yeah.
I still, we're old school. We've said it before. We like to have something tangible. We like to be able to own something.
Yeah.
I mocked in large part the Xbox streaming service.
Yeah.
And that's basically what this would be. You're gonna end up paying a monthly fee to have access to their games. And at first, the library is going to grow from past games and all the kind of IPs that they can pick up for that and what they can offer from that. And then they'll start making some new ones.
Yeah.
And as this goes and as it changes, depending on the success, if they can do well with it, then we're going to start seeing changes. Then you're going to start seeing console sales drop. You're going to start seeing game sales drop. This, I don't mean to be too negative.
Right.
This could wreck the industry.
Yeah, if this goes off the way that they want it to. Now, I think one of the things that mitigates, I think, that concept or that kind of staves that fear off a little bit, something that people don't like about Google doing this is saying, look, Google, it's just going to be like anything else. You pick this up and you're not going to see it through to completion. I mean, how many Google things can you look at that are still in beta? That never complete. And I think they've set such a trend with that. It's difficult for them to come out and say, we've got this new thing that's going to change everything, without people sort of questioning, but are you really serious about it? Is this just another experiment? Are you actually going to stick with it? Are you really just poking the bear? So
I am still waiting to be able to browse Google through my glasses.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm still waiting to get rid of my computer monitor and have everything look like an Iron Man.
See, that kind of stuff.
There's something tangible to this, though.
Right.
There's definitely, small little handheld games and apps and such have shown that there's a market for stuff like this.
They have.
The Xbox subscription service has shown there's a market for this.
Yeah. So it's just the question, what do you do with said market, and how do you garner that user base? Because an advantage someone would say was, hey, I don't have to own a PS4 Pro, I don't have to have this and that, I don't have to have this graphics card, whatever. Hey, I bust open my browser and I got it. There, I'm in name the game Battle Royale. Sure.
Depending on your perspective on this, IPs are gonna save or break the winner of this whole situation.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting. And Microsoft, who's been getting their butt kicked in large part this year, who switched to a large subscription service, maybe Microsoft's like, hey, that's my buddy Google.
Yeah. We
do all kinds of stuff together. It's like I said, when we had the conversation with Isaac a long time ago when he did a show with us, we were talking about the future of this, and I said, you cannot ever count Microsoft out just because of the amount of real estate that they command.
Amen to that.
And that scares me. That scares me. I like the way games are now.
Same.
I don't really want the industry to change too much.
Same.
So, it's followed this model for decades, and I could be sitting here as an old timer and say, I don't like change. I like it the way it is. And maybe I'm wrong, but I like what I like.
Yeah.
And kiss my ass for trying to change it.
This will be a tough sale to, I think, try to get this one over in the type of scale that they like to. The thing I fear most is really having effectively control, DRM and all of that, really placing everything in the hands of service providers or subscription providers and everything. And the idea of us no longer having anything tangible, period. That whole thing we joked about a few shows ago about Apple walking in your house at 3 a.m. and taking your movie. Well, hey, it's not yours, man. This is just a lease. You're borrowing it, and here's a 80-page thing you sign saying prove you don't own this, but you got to sign this to play it.
I mean, I'm not, and maybe it's because I've been around before the internet, and I remember a world before the internet. As an adult,
in a world,
I remember a world before the internet. I don't like the idea that there could be a future where I absolutely cannot play a video game because I can't get online.
Yeah, I agree, man. There's got to be still something offline, something manual, something analog. I know. The fighting game community, that's one I think would just go bonkers about that. Some of the best moments with that are forged when you're just sitting with friends. I'm with you. I can't imagine time where everything is online and there's just no offline, period, streaming. So I don't want to see this through to its utter extreme. There are some advantages, but no thanks.
I think we need to go over to Google and have a talk with them. Let us know about our feelings.
But what do you guys think? Hey, post up. Let us know. Do you love this? Have you always been on board with the concept of streaming and more power to the people in terms of access, or do you think this is the gaming apocalypse? Let us know.
We use server-side software at my job right now.
Yeah.
I hate it. It runs like crap. It goes down all the time. And there's nothing you can do about it because the problem's not on your end.
Yep.
The problem's the problem's being controlled by complete strangers who may or may not get to it.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. It drives me crazy.
So no,
I'm not going to disclose who that is, but it is a major company whose commercials you see on a daily basis.
Lots of ground to cover here, and there's a lot to consider. A lot of users, so we'll see where it goes. Until then, though, it's time for an Info Minute. Chris, what's the longest word you've ever heard?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I'm pretty sure that's it. Did I win the Info Minute?
That's it. I'm just going to close the segment because
that's it. See you later.
Somehow Chris had enough foresight to know exactly what I wanted to say before I even said it. Not necessarily the case. This Info Minute is all about wordsmithing, more specifically looking at literature. What are some of the longest words or just word we've ever had written before? It turns out the longest word is not of the English language. What we see now, I'm
not surprised by that at all. Actually,
it translates to 183 letters. But
can I guess? Hold on, before you say, is it Mandarin?
If you guess it, no, it's not. It's actually not.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's Greek.
Okay. I should have seen that. All right.
In the original Greek, it's 171 layers. This comes from Aristophanes. This was a playwright in ancient times. In fact, a lot of his plays still remain intact, at least considering the time period he's from. I mean, 11 out of, I think, the 40 he ever composed remain. But this specific word is from one of his plays called Assemblywomen. While we're talking about this, Chris, I'm just going to throw you this link because I'm not even going to attempt to try to say this word. I can't. I don't have the inflection to.
Well, we know I'm good with the words.
And I don't want you to say the word either, but
you give it to me, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you should hear this. Just how
so
ridiculous.
Real quick though, is it the name of a person, place, or thing? Is it?
This is the name of a thing. Now, specifically, what this
is. It isn't okay. So that's almost cheating, though.
Close to It's a dish. It's talking about a food.
It's a dish,
fictional food. So check this out. It's in the food itself. The dish is comprised of everything from different types of fish, different types of birds, sauces like shark, crayfish, honey, blackbird, wood pigeons, hare, as in rabbits, boiled egg, all kinds of just stuff. It's a ridiculous fictional dish, and it has an equally ridiculous name to it. So, go ahead.
So this was the name of a dish in a play.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. If we break this down even further, if we want to actually take into account like scientific names, looking at something specifically in English, what we have now. Luckily, we're not going so far as to talk about like proteins that exist, as in like human proteins. Because if you start talking about protein chains, you can get ridiculous, or up to 819 letters in that range. So I'm going to rule out a little bit of the science stuff. But the longest word you will likely encounter in the English dictionary you will run across actually has to do with a sickness, a condition you can get from volcanoes, of all things.
Yes, what?
The condition is called pneumono ultra microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. Basically, the word refers to a lung disease you get from inhaling very fine silica particles, specifically from a volcano. And that is pretty much the longest word you're going to find in English language. I find this stuff a lot of fun.
I would have guessed though that especially when you said volcanoes, I would have guessed it would have been I just burnt my face off itis.
Yeah, burnt my face off itis. It's a good way to describe it.
I thought that would have been the longest common word that he may come off to. He's got the burnt face-itis. That's short for burnt face-itis.
You know, and I never started to appreciate this stuff until after my first 4 years. I finished those and I went on to do another 2 years. And then once I started getting into grad studies and I got into, actually reading lit and stuff, there's a whole awesome lexicon of stuff here you get into. You start goofing with, not just works and famous pieces of literature, but just language. Its form and function.
Now you're surprising me here. Now, I kind of figured that you were probably an English major because, the having the command and the understanding and the proper use of the English language. But you're actually kind of a word nerd.
Yeah, I love lit, man.
Wow. So do you get into dead languages and stuff?
I did at one point.
Oh my god. The nerd level that this guy has is more than even I knew.
At one point, now my specific focus within grad studies was lit. Some people went way more into the writing and the grammatical side of things, and that's a whole different field of study. But then you start, while you talk a little bit about dead language, it's more about theory application and theory practice and stuff like that, and how that comes in all of it. Here's the thing. For me, why I love this stuff and where it's set so much, we got multimedia and communications and all the tech we deal with all the time, dealing with Adobe Premiere, the Adobe Suite, all that good stuff. And then on the other, you have analog communications, actually writing, use of, grammar, speech, but then also lit and how important all that is and how it ties into all this. It's crazy, dude. There's a lot of ridiculous rules and underpinnings for why this stuff works the way it does, and it's kind of archaic when you look at it, but it's just fun. It's just something fun about it. I can't shake it. So, man.
All right. I can understand a fascination with language when it comes to interaction,
right?
And how, and as an artist, as a visual artist, I certainly can appreciate that. And I mean, that's just kind of another way of doing that, of communication.
Yeah.
Sure.
Go with it.
You nerd.
Proud of it.
This guy, king of the nerds.
Oh man. Hey, if any of you guys you got a ridiculous sounding word yourself, or hey, do you think you found something longer? Hey, let us know. Or post, or if you please, I hope none of you ever.
Yeah, let us know what you think of my word. Burn your face off. Burn your face off itis.
Hope none of you ever got or get burn your face off itis. Other than that, hey, that's all we got for now. Be sure to tune in right here on our channel, not just for our weekly show, but also for our movie reviews, our gaming Let's Plays, and other gaming reviews we got coming up. We still got plenty on the plate before we finish out this year, heading to holiday season.
And they keep adding more.
I know, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It's
Jeez,
like a locomotive.
That's all right. I got a whole platter here already. Okay. We're gonna put on a side dish of Voltron season 8 before the year's over. Thank you very much. I didn't have enough going on that weekend.
Can you please pass the mashed potatoes? Okay. So, but hey.
Speaking of which, show next week.
Yeah. No. Thank you for the reminder, Chris. You are going to be out of town, right?
Yeah, wedding.
Gotcha. So
I'm getting married.
Bum, bum, bum.
No. I mean, family member.
Cool. So, hey, you're the first here, people. You're the man. Chris is going to be out. No weekly show, but hey, that's going to give you time to catch up on our Let's Plays, the rest of the reviews, and everything else we have. So, again, we'd love to hear from you guys. Please post up, and we're going to catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one. Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, there anything we go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but if great, if you could throw some support, you can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksongmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, dig up, and maybe not find. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.